Okay, this is probably the riskiest video I've ever done. Racial slurs tier list. Let this guy give the disclaimer first, then I'll get into it.
Before YouTube sends me to the Shadow Realm, let me just say that this is an educational video made to inform the viewers about racial discrimination and is in no way meant to be a guide to becoming a more efficient racist. Alright, now...
Yeah, what he said. Alright, let's get two things out the way. The first thing is the N-word is S tier. I don't even care what sort of, like, boundaries or measurements we're using to rank them. The N-word's always gonna be S tier. Like, we're talking about racial slurs here. Yo, fuck this video, bro. Second thing, to any of my future employers, like, I want y'all to realize I'm never getting a job that does background checks ever in my life because of this one video, bro. They're gonna go on my channel. First thing they're gonna see, racial slur tier list. 3 seconds in, after the disclaimer, N-word, S tier. It's so versatile. You can just use it anywhere. When you're making a salad, when you're talking to your girl, when you're walking, like, the fuck no, bro. I'm never getting a job.
That we have that out of the way, let's get into the good stuff. Today we're going to be talking about racial slurs and ranking them based on their offensiveness and the likelihood that it will cost you your job.
Oh.
I'll try to keep them varied so it's not just the same slur 8 times. And before we get into it, because of YouTube's content ID algorithm, we're going to be putting them through captures when they're up on the screen. But everyone watching should be human, so that shouldn't matter, right? Right? Let's get right into it, and let me just say that this is obviously a race for second place, as the first place spot is going to be going to the N-word.
Yeah, hard R though, you're tripping. Hard R is A tier. Hard R is second. Normal one is first, because the first one is so versatile. Obviously, you should only ever be using it if you're a black person. And even then, it's like, there's debate about it, because why would you want that word to be in, like, circulation? Why would you want to put that into the world? But either way, what isn't debatable is that you should not be using it if you're not black. But the hard R, yo, that's second place. That's second place. I know we're talking, like, no variations, but come on, you're talking about the big drop, the N-word, gang. Like, you gotta at least make an exception for that. A is number 1, bro.
If you look at a racist's keyboard, you'll see that the N, I, G, E, and R keys are the most faded, and I'm 99% sure it's not because they spent all day arguing about the social and political climate of the African country of Niger. It originates from the Latin for black, but during the slave trade in the 17th century, it began to be picked up as a slur and would be used in common language until the late 20th century.
I wonder how countries feel, bro. When they were like trying to teach us Spanish and we were 7 years old and they tried teaching us the word for black. Yeah, you know nothing was getting done that whole day, man. They should just give up. Why do they even bother at this point? I wonder what it feels like being in those countries. Because, like, as a little kid, you just like, oh, this just means black. And then you, like, watch American TV shows and movies and you see people getting really upset about the word. And you're like, bro, does it really compute to you? Like, that must be such a weird, like, culture shock.
It was decided collectively that we probably shouldn't be saying that. The Merriam-Webster dictionary rates it as the most offensive slur in English history, so even the dictionary agrees with the number 1 spot.
The big drop.
And it probably goes without saying that if you say this in any context, you're probably going to be unemployed before the R even leaves your lips.
Hold up, you're telling me... Yeah, quite literally. But hold on, you're telling me it's the most offensive slur in the history of the English language? Really? There was no word beforehand? I mean, back in the day, there wasn't really, like, a way to not necessarily persecute, but, like, to hold people accountable. So, yeah, I guess so. Like, back then, you just say whatever. Like, words that I don't think had as much meaning as they do now. But now, like, the things you say really do just last forever. Like, whether it's on the internet, whether it's how it affects people. Like, everyone's gonna be held accountable for what you do and say.
Next, we have the fruit slurs, which, when I read it first, I thought they were taking the piss too, but no, fruit slurs are real. And it's to do with minorities who want to be white, like bananas for Asians, who are yellow on the outside but white on the inside, coconuts for brown people, and apples for the Native Americans, who are red on the outside.
Bro, these are creative as fuck. This is like high-level racism. We're in ranked lobbies right now. This is some next-level shit.
But want to be white on the inside. Imagine trying to be hateful and calling someone a banana. I would probably just look at you confused more than anything. Actually, I was wondering what we could do for the 5k subs, and seeing as how I'm basically...
This is a 5,000 subscriber channel. Damn, man. Hey, props to you. This is high quality shit.
Anonymous. I figured I'd throw you guys a bone and do a minority reveal, so we have something to look forward to. So if you haven't already, then go ahead and subscribe.
Yes, I can't wait to find out which should be used against which racial group. Yes! What a reveal. 5,000 subscribers. Woo! Get him to 10,000 subscribers so we can learn more about how to be better racist people. Obviously, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, bro. Look at me. It's, YouTube, bro. Look at me, bro. My mom's kind of homeless. I need this fucking video up.
For the fruit slurs, we're going to be putting them in the 10th spot, as, to be honest, more people would be confused and offended if you called them a fruit slur.
But it's low-key smart, because once you realize what it means, that would low-key hurt you on, like, a different level, because you have to, like, go through mental barriers and stipulations and use your indefatigable mind to, like, discover what it means, and then it turns out to be, like, racist. Low-key, this one's... I like... Whoa. I'm sorry. No, I'll put that, like, at second, though. Or, like, third to fourth.
And you're most likely not even going to be getting a HR email. Never mind getting fired.
Yeah, facts.
I'll also add onto this that chocolate ice cream or ice cream bars are the same fruit slurs, but for black people who are black on the outside and want to be white on the inside.
Now, Loki, you know it's a bad racial slur, or you know it's a good racial slur when he's saying it in the video, like not even using a cap. I mean, he did use a captcha, but he's just saying it. I mean, it is fruit.
We have the slur for Indians, mostly for Hindus, which is Pajit, which originates from the name Pai Ji and the fact that a lot of Indian names end in Jeet. It's used against Indian males due to the stereotypes associated with Indian.
I can't lie, bro. I got a lot of Indian friends. This shit funny as fuck to me. I can't even lie. Like, I'm not even gonna care, bro. Like, they be saying it in front of each other and it's funny as fuck.
Men online, such as they are extremely horny and they're very nationalistic. True or not, they have been associated with the name and are now used in a derogatory fashion. In a similar vein, Mujit is the Indian response to Indian Muslims, which is obviously derived from the Pajit slur, but with the mu prefix. If you call it
like, how pathetic is that? The origin of the slur is a word that is used against you. Like, you couldn't even like create a new one to like insult them. Like, you had to use a slur that you are simultaneously like roasting yourself, I guess. Not that racists really have like the biggest minds. Not that they're the most logical human beings.
an Indian person, a Pajit or a Majit, they're most likely to get pretty offended, so I'm going to be putting it higher up on the list.
Really?
Maybe in third place, although it could be displaced. And I guess I'll put Majit in there as well, as they're two sides of the same rupee. This one is a bit hit or miss on if you're going to be fired. If you work in tech with a lot of Indians, then yeah, you're probably cooked, but if you have a blue-collar job, you might just get a few laughs. Fuzzy Wuzzy, yes, fuzzy.
Yeah, if you work at like a blue-collar job, you might just get like a raise. Fuzzy, oh, I'm not gonna say. Oh, he just said it though.
Wuzzy is a slur which is used disparagingly against Eritrean and Sudanese Africans. It originates from a poem by the same name that describes the respect that the British soldiers had for the Eritreans and Sudanese that fought alongside the British Army, and relates to their hair being frizzy. Originally, it had positive connotations, but over time it became more and more associated with anti-African racism, which is just life, I guess. I'm probably gonna...
What? It started as something so noble though. Wow, they wrote like a whole poem on like how the Sudanese people who fought beside them were cool. Damn, that low-key like got me in my feelings, bro. That's some real like bring the world together type shit.
Be putting this in the 9th spot as, for what it's worth, it's one of the less offensive slurs on this list, as it started out in admiration and not just hate from the beginning.
What?
Similar to the fruit slurs, it's pretty niche and uncommon, so we'll probably fly under the radar if you said
I
that.
wonder if he puts, what is there an Arab slur? There's one Arab slur, but low-key, I don't claim it, because it's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's called the sand and then N-word. So if you really think about it, actually, I'm not gonna go there. But will he put that on the list, like, for Arab people? That's the only slur for Arab people I can really think of.
At work, although you would get some weird stares. Next up is chink, which is a slur that is used against Chinese people.
Whoa, what the bro, he just said that shit. That's proper racist. Like, what? You don't just say that, bro. Like, this isn't fuzzy whatever. Like, you're tripping, dog.
Primarily, but as racists do, it's also used against people with hooded eyes. Some speculate it may have originated from the Chinese phrase.
Yeah, I don't think they really care about, like, being inclusive and shit over there. Like, at the KKK, I don't think they really give a fuck.
Ching ching, which is a courtesy. But others argue it wasn't really that popularized until labor shortages in the west coast of America led to an immigration boom of primarily Chinese nationals who were expert fishermen. And when an American patented his own fish gutting machine, he named it the Iron Chink, and its popularity just grew from there until it was in mainstream use. This one is similar to Pajit, as in the chances of you losing your job are very environment dependent, but I'd say that it doesn't offend as much as being called a Pajit, and I would know because I've been called both despite being from neither region. So I'll put it...
Who the fuck? This guy's like multicultural, man? Like Mr. Worldwide? Who the fuck? How do you get called Indian and Chinese at the same time?
in a respectable 5th place. Cracker is going to be our next racial slur, and honestly, it's a bit of a push to call it a racial slur because I don't think I've ever seen a white person offended by being called a cracker.
Low-key facts.
It's like water off a duck's back. It apparently originates from the noise that whips would make, which I don't get.
Yeah, I don't think that's like, how would that be linked to being like a racial slur? Like, yeah, you used to like whip people. Like, obviously that's a bad thing, but it's not really, it's like a cruel thing to do. And nowadays, like, being cruel is edgy and cool. Like, I don't know
how that's offensive.
Yeah.
Bonus slurs include mayo monkey, vanilla gorilla, bleach demons, unscented candles, etc. But some of these sound pretty cool if I'm being honest.
I've never heard any of these. Come on, man. I've been alive too long not to know about like some racial slurs like these, bro. Like, these are just made up, gang. Like, one kid in Minnesota. The 3 kids who asked for the perps, the Kevin Parents, those are the kids that made up this shit.
Imagine just chilling with your homie and he goes, "What's up, my vanilla gorilla?" I'd be hyped. It's gonna go in 8th because it's weak, but the other ones below are more dumb, so...
Facts.
Yeah. And you're probably not gonna get fired. You're actually more likely to get a promotion bantering with your boss. A lesser known slur is goy, which
Oh, buddy, that's how I know this video is like at least a year old. Man, I think that's like more popular than the N-word right now. Not that there's like a leaderboard.
refers to all non-Jews, and its origins are from the Talmud, which is the holy book of the Jews. The translation is similar to farm animals / creatures that are lesser, and I didn't actually know about this one until recently. But yeah, now you know that some Jews refer to all non-Jews as farm animals, so do with that knowledge as you wish. But I'm going to put it in 7th, just ahead of Cracker, as it's pretty unknown and not many people would take.
Nowadays, I'd put that at like, bro, not, is it 2nd? Has it dethroned the big drop? No way. It has not, bro. That word has just been like all throughout history. This one's like only recently. It's like the new kid on the block. I'd put that like 3rd.
Offense because of that, and similarly wouldn't bring it up to HR.
Yeah, where the fuck does this guy live? Like Mumbai? How is this so high up? Like, I've barely ever heard this being used in a way that's genuinely gonna hurt someone's feelings. Not that that makes it any better or worse, but it's like, usually it's just Indian people saying it to other Indian people. This is low-key like underground, bro. I'd put this at like 5th.
Uncle Tom is a slur that is used primarily by black people to disparage other black people for acting in a way that they deem slave-like, but it didn't originally have the same meaning. The term came from the character Uncle Tom in Harriet Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, and in the story Uncle Tom is beaten to death for protecting the whereabouts of his fellow slaves. This was distorted in subsequent plays that portrayed him as a self-serving sellout who betrays his fellow slaves, and the theme of selling out to the white man stuck with the character and led to the slur that we have today. Because it's
Damn, bro, that's actually crazy. Tom really did like the right thing. He did like the righteous thing, the moral thing, and he still gets like, bro, no good deed goes unpunished. It's weird. I know it's probably not an actual story, maybe it is, but that's deep.
mostly used by black people to describe other black people, you probably wouldn't lose your job for saying it if you're black.
Nah, it's probably like Uncle Ruckus is the new one, gang. Yo, I'd start playing the soundtrack. You don't even gotta say anything, bro. Boondocks really had like a big effect on the culture. If you're like a self-deprecating black person or ethnic person in general, you're an Uncle Ruckus. Like, no need for no Tom whatever.
However, I wouldn't try this if you're a white person. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting it in the 6th spot. Our second to last racial slur is Paki, which is a slur used to disparage Pakistani Asians and rose to popularity.
There's no, bro, why do we always get left out? Like, I low-key want to be included. There's no, that's probably a good thing, though. How the fuck is there no racial slur for, like, Arab people? At least not one that's, like, really used. It's probably because they all just think we're either Indian or Pakistani. But yeah, this one's low-key, yeah. I don't know, do I got the pass for this one? Like, nah, I'm not even gonna try.
During racial tensions in the UK in the 60s and 70s. Racist nationals would form Paki-bashing groups to harass and attack Pakistani.
Bro, this guy's really just letting it fly. Like, you can't say that shit, bro. I don't know how I feel about this. This is crazy behavior.
And South Asians, which led to thousands of racially charged attacks and even some deaths. These sparked outrage in the formation of British Asian youth movements to protect their communities, and eventually through social and political change, the clashes stopped. I'm going to put this in the 5th spot, as you could argue it's similar to Chink. However, I think the history of violence puts it over the edge. And again, I'd say it has the potential to cost you your job, but it could also just lead to having to attend some racial mindfulness sessions. Our final racial slur, the unofficial first place slur, we have the...
Really? You'd put that as 2nd to 1st place, bro. I think out of all of these, this is the one I found out about the least, like about like the last. Like, this one's low-key like underground. Like, I know about this one from fucking Aiden Ross, bro. Like, that's the only reason I know what that even means. Other than that, like, of course these ones are like niche as fuck. This one I've like never heard, I've heard of, but I didn't know it was like a racial slur. But damn.
K-word, which rhymes with bike and is used to refer to Jews. Given by the fact that 1st and 2nd place I'm saying K and N-word, you can tell that the use of these words are probably going to get you fired from your job and potentially have your social medias / YouTube account kneecapped as well. The K-word originates from when the first Jewish immigrants came to Ellis Island, and when they were signing forms they would use a circle or kikel in Hebrew instead of...
Bro, I do kind of feel like there's a bit of like, why are you putting more emphasis on like certain racial slurs? Like the P word, that's a pretty serious one. Like, I'd expect this sort of like, not to be the person, because I know making this video, obviously, like, it's quite ironic of me to be the guy who's like, oh, why would you do this? Why would you do that? When the video is literally titled racial slur tier list. But it's like, I'd at least expect like similar levels of mindfulness. Like, why do they get a paragraph and like every other race gets just either the word or like an animation?
A cross to mark their answers, as the cross reminds them of Jesus, which they don't particularly like. This then led to immigration inspectors to refer to them as the K-word, and from there it stuck. Not only will this get you fired from your job, it might even constitute a hate crime charge if you're unlucky enough. Anyways, that's all we have for today's video. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, and if I missed out your favourite slur, Make sure to comment it, but no, don't do that. I'm not trying to...
Obviously, all of these are bad. Racism in general is bad. Even if you don't say these words and you act in a racist way, it's bad. Like, don't get me wrong. None of these should ever be said. Anyways, man, if you guys enjoy, subscribe. I love every single one of y'all. And yeah, peace.